Comment 1516 tells you to use a particular method for multiplication and division of decimals. If you're getting this comment a lot, it means that you should put it on a summary poster or summary sheet with diagrams, spider diagrams, flowcharts, whatever, to help remind you that this is a technique that you can use. If you are incredibly often being told to do this, then it should probably go into a top 10 mistakes list that you consult before the exam. Just to remind you that this technique is available to you. Now, what is it that I'm actually talking about? I'm talking about questions like this, where for some reason you have available to you like a number fact like 13 times 77 equals 1001. That's not the only way in which these things can be presented to you. Instead of telling you that 13 times 77 equals 1001, they might tell you that 1001 divided by 11 equals 91. Both this and this are both useful number facts about multiplication and division. This is a number fact about division. That says the same thing. And this is a number fact about multiplication. This and this say the same thing, this and this say the same thing. And what this comment is telling you is that you can take advantage of that. So for example, if I tell you to find 1.3 times 0.77, just regard that as the real question. And regard this number fact as a fake question that you wish you'd been asked. Line it up nicely. It would have been so nice if you'd been asked that, because up here you already know what that is. But you haven't been asked that, you've instead been asked that. But just keep track of how the real question compares with the fake question. When you construct the fake question, that's timesing by 10, yes? And this is timesing by 100. So just undo that. Reverse the process. Divide by 10 and divide by 100, and you get 1.01, which kind of makes sense because 1.3 is close to 1, 0.77 is close to 1, so 1 times 1 will be roughly equal to 1. Here's another example. If you are asked to find 1.001 divided by 0.11. That's the real question. The fake question, the one which would have been incredibly nice, is this. Why do I say that's nice? Because you're told the answer. And what you do is you just compare. And so you just compare, but this is a bit harder to compare than that one because it's got fractions in it. So what I recommend is that you come up with an alternative version of the real question, just by timesing top and bottom by whatever it takes to match the denominator here. So I'm going to times top and bottom by 100. That is the same as the real question. That's why I've called it the real question. So that's version 1, that's version 2. And this is much easier to compare because I don't have to look at the denominators. I can just look at the numerators. So when I constructed the fake question, I times that by 10. So all you have to do to construct the answer to the real question is divide that by 10. And there's your answer. And that looks roughly right. 100 divided by 10 is 10, so 101 divided by 11 could be 9.1, and there's your answer. Oh, by the way, the reason why you have to be much more careful with the division than the multiplication, and why you have to come up with why it's advisable to come up with a second version of the real question, is because a fraction gets larger both by increasing the numerator and by decreasing the denominator, and so because there's a mismatch there, you can get confused, which is why I recommend coming up with a version version of the real question where you only have to look at one change at a time.